Stop scrolling. Have you ever heard of a knight who outsmarted an entire kingdom? Most stories glorify knights for their bravery and honor, but today we uncover a hidden gem of history, a tale of wit and deception that played a pivotal role in shaping medieval politics. This is the incredible story of Ulrich the Canny, a largely forgotten knight who once fooled a king and his court in an audacious plot that changed the course of a kingdom. Our story takes place in the 13th century, in what is now modern-day France. Back then, the land was divided into countless fiefdoms, ruled by lords and knights who often found themselves embroiled in intricate conflicts and power plays. The backdrop? A vast kingdom teetering on the brink of civil strife. You see, King Renaud III had ascended to the throne amidst whispers of discontent. Some lords supported him, while others questioned his legitimacy. Among these lords was Baron Gilbert, a man who sought to overthrow Renaud. Gilbert was cunning, but lacked the necessary manpower and resourcefulness to lead a full-scale rebellion. That's where Ulrich comes in. Ulrich wasn't a high-born noble. He was a relatively obscure knight of minor consequence, but what he lacked in rank, he made up for with intelligence and audacity. Baron Gilbert approached Ulrich with a risky proposition. To gain the upper hand against King Renaud, Ulrich was tasked with infiltrating the royal court and gathering intelligence. Easier said than done, right? But Ulrich wasn't your average knight. He devised a plan so audacious it could only have been conceived by someone who had total confidence, or someone with nothing to lose. Ulrich managed to weave a false backstory about being a distant cousin of the king, an illegitimate son of Renaud's uncle. To pull this off, Ulrich studied every detail of the royal family tree, memorizing names, relationships, and historical anecdotes to make his case credible. Forging documents was a barrier, but Ulrich took great care to counterfeit a letter from a prominent noble vouching for him. It was sheer genius, or reckless bravado, but it worked. Ulrich was granted an audience with the king. Dressed to the nines in borrowed armor, his fabricated lineage and charisma enchanted the royal court. King Renaud not only welcomed Ulrich, but granted him a seat at the table of his most trusted advisors. Few questioned his motives, as the royal court was always rife with intrigue and opportunists. Once ensconced within the court, Ulrich set about gathering intelligence. He paid off servants, eavesdropped in hidden corridors, and gained the trust of key allies close to the king. Over weeks, Ulrich uncovered details of troop movements, loyalties among the lords, and even secret plans the king had for upcoming campaigns. But Ulrich wasn't just a thief of secrets. He excelled at planting misinformation too. Through subtle manipulation, he spread rumors and subtly convinced the king's advisors to mistrust one another. The seeds of confusion and indecision began sprouting right in the royal chambers. At one point, Ulrich even convinced the king that an invasion threat was imminent from the neighboring kingdom of Navarre, causing the royal forces to scatter in preparation for a non-existent battle. Despite his cunning, Ulrich knew his luck wouldn't last forever. Whispers began circling within the court about his true identity. A mistake in one of his forged documents, a minor discrepancy, a misspelled family name, almost exposed him. But Ulrich deftly dismissed doubts by playing up his supposed ignorance due to his rural upbringing. However, as the king's inner circle grew more suspicious, Ulrich decided to play his final hand. He orchestrated a fake royal decree announcing that the king would sign a new treaty with Baron Gilbert and other dissatisfied lords. The decree was carried by trusted messengers, with Ulrich ensuring it leaked to the royal supporters to create an explosion of tension. The resulting chaos distracted the court and gave Gilbert enough time to prepare his rebellion. When civil unrest broke out, Ulrich faked his own death by abandoning his armor near a battlefield and vanishing into obscurity. Gilbert's rebellion ultimately failed, but not before significantly weakening King Renaud's hold on the kingdom. In the aftermath, Ulric's role was reduced to whispers and unconfirmed rumors, his name erased from official accounts. Yet the name Ulric the Canny lingers in certain folk tales and oral traditions. Did he do it out of loyalty to the Baron? Perhaps, but most believe it was pure self-interest. Or maybe he simply enjoyed the thrill of outsmarting the powerful. His life reminds us that history is not just about kings and queens, but also the cunning individuals who lurk in the shadows, shaping events with as much sway as those on thrones. Ulric's story serves as a fascinating reminder that sometimes the underestimated, those who come from obscurity, can leave the greatest mark. While he may not have achieved glory in the traditional sense, his actions had far-reaching consequences, crippling the confidence of a king and changing the course of a nation's politics. So next time you think about the Middle Ages, remember it wasn't just a time of knights in shining armor and grand castles. It was also an era of high-stakes espionage, deceptions, and surprising twists. Who would have thought a single knight's cunning could shift the dynamics of an entire kingdom? That's the enigma of Ulric the Canny. And that, my friends, is yet another hidden gem of history. If you loved uncovering this historical anecdote, hit that like button and follow us for more. Who knows what other untold stories we'll discover next? Until then, keep your curiosity alive and your mind open to the mysteries of the past.